Hello everyone, this is Mr. Grogan. This video is going to cover the Google Sheets project, in particular the section for advanced spreadsheets. All right, as a quick overview for this, as I mentioned in class and also with this assignment that I posted on Google Classroom, you're creating 3 spreadsheets in total. All right. At this point, you should have already gotten started with the first file, which is called checks, and that is used in the creating a simple workbook, as well as the sections on writing formulas using functions and formatting the appearance of a workbook. All right. What this video is going to cover today is the section on advanced spreadsheets. All right. And for this one, you are going to be creating a second spreadsheet, right? And that spreadsheet is going to be named company. All right. So, and as I said, this video will cover the section on advanced spreadsheets. This section is probably the longest one out of all of the sections for this project. All right. I'm going to try to go through this video as quick as I can. I'm going to create a separate video that will go into the linking worksheets, which probably won't take too long. All right. So, without any further ado, all right. Once we get started with this, you want to make sure that you have the link up, which I posted in Google Classroom. This is this link right here. All right. And as I said, what I'm going to cover today is in this video is going to be advanced spreadsheets. All right. So when I click on here, you're going to want to have a tab for the directions, and as well as another tab for the spreadsheet itself, right? And you want to make sure that you enter in company up here when you're starting this particular section, all right? And once I get in here, all right, as it even says in this part of the tutorial, you're creating a workbook and learning how to fill a cell or a range of cells with formulas to speed up the data entry. Okay, some of the things you're going to be learning in this particular section will involve using what's called the fill handle feature, which is a very important thing that will help you entering data more quickly on Google Sheets, as well as some stuff with naming ranges, which you won't use as much, all right, and also formatting numbers, all right, which they do go into that a little bit with the checks file, all right. So anyways, going right along here, all right, what I did was I filled in this information already. All right. If you scroll down on the directions, you should see like it gives you a basic overview of what you should have right from the get-go. All right. So take the time now to enter that data in. All right. I've already have it set up here. And one thing that you'll do once you have all this data entered in, okay, what they want you to do is they want you for the revenue, the expenses, and the income. They want you to make sure that you bold the text for those cells. So I'm going to do that now. And okay. All right. And one thing that you'll notice real quick is that this is this particular spreadsheet will show the projections for a book company. All right. And they list like the revenues, the expenses, and the income. All right. Revenue and expenses when it comes to the business world. Revenue are things that generate money, things within your business that generate money. Expenses are things that cost money. All right, just as a quick aside on that. All right, so anyways, when you enter in all this information, okay, it won't take you too long to do that. All right, you can just go right down to the next part here on this link. Okay, it says select the text below with the bold-faced headings and justify the text. Now, to do this part right here, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take what's in row 6, column A, rows 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, and 16, 17, and 18, is that you're going to, what you're going to do is you're going to, I can start off with highlighting column A, rows 6 through 8. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the insertion point right up here. And you should see an icon that will have some lines, about 4 lines on there. Okay, if you bring the mouse or the insertion point over it, it'll tell you what it does. You want to look for the one that says horizontal align, and click here. Okay, and what they want you to do here, okay, is they want you to align this text over to the right side of the cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I click this down arrow, some options will come up. All right. And if you put the insertion point over each one, it will tell you what alignment it's going to be. So I'm going to select this one here, right align. That aligns to the right. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to then I'm going to go down here. Okay. And this part here is going to go into naming cells. Now there's a thing that where you can name a range of cells. Okay. And this is not quite as important as some of the other things that you're going to be learning in this, but I'm just going to quickly go through it. All right. Essentially what they want you to do, all right, to add a cell range, okay, or to name a range, what you want to do, and this is key because on the actual Google Sheets, it's going to look a little different than what it says on the directions here. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on cell B7. All right. And then you're going to go up to data and you're going to select named ranges, this one right here. Okay. And then you're going to select add a range. All right. And then what you're going to do, this may or may not work for you. All right. If you have trouble with this, with the naming ranges, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm not going to take off too many points many points at all if you mess this up. If you mess up the named ranges part, because it's not really that important when it comes to learning the basics of Google Sheets, but it's just a good thing to use. All right. Depending on the situation. So what you're going to do, okay, is you're going to go here and, like I said, you just go to data up here on the menu bar, and then you select named ranges and then add a range. Okay. So what you can do is you can, for cell B7, okay, you can name the range as service. So you go here, I change this from name range 1 to service. Okay. And then I'm going to, down here, I'm going to change this from sheet 1 to company. All right. The name of the file. All right. And I'm going to keep that exclamation point in the cell B7. All right. And if you get it like an invalid range, okay, like I said, you may have to fiddle around with this, but you shouldn't have too many problems. But if you do, again, I'm not going to worry. I really wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay. So then I'm going to continue forward. All right. And this part here, it says enter the following constants into your workbook. All right. You're going to enter in these numbers right here for cell B6, 46,000, cell B7, 55,000. B11 is going to be 62,000 and B12 is going to be 22,500. It's going to be 22,500. Okay. So now the next thing that we're going to do, all right, is we're going to select cell B8 and we're going to enter the formula that sums up sales and services. All right. So what I'm going to do, and the directions even listed right down here, all right, is on cell B8, we're going to enter in, there's two ways to enter in the formula. We could use this one or this one. As you'll see, when you're dealing with cells that like you're adding up or factoring in a number of different cells, you're going to find that this way of entering in a formula that I have highlighted right now will be the easier one. Okay. It's especially helpful if you're adding up, 20 different cells. Okay. Because if you do it this way, then you have to enter in like, if this was, you're adding up cells B6 to B20, you go B6 plus B7, B plus B8 plus B9. And so, it takes a long time. Whereas if you did it this way, it's a little easier. Okay. And I'll show you real quick how that works. All right. So I'm going to select cell B8 and I'm going to start off with the equal sign, which is what you need to do in order to enter in any formula. What you may see once you enter in the equal sign is you may see it like a drop-down menu come up where it gives you suggestions. Sometimes this is helpful, but sometimes it's not. All right. This case, it is helpful. All right. But you'll notice that right here, it gives like a suggestion based on the data. Now, depending on the computer that you're using, this might not come up. All right. If it doesn't come up, then just enter in like this. Type in SUM. That's short for sum. Adding up. That's how the program reads when you're adding up numbers. All right. And then you do open parentheses, which hold down the shift key and press 9. That open parentheses. And then what you can do is you can highlight these two cells here, cells B6 and B7. All right. And you'll notice that when you do that, okay, you'll see that it shows up as inside the parentheses, it shows up as B6 colon B7. All right. B6 and B7, when it's shown like this, it's referred to as a data range. Okay. All right. And already you'll see that the total of cells B6 and B7 will already show up before you hit the enter button. It shows up as 101,000. Okay. So I hit that. There you go. Okay. Notice that when I click on cell B8 after I already finished the formula, all right, cell B8 shows as 101,000. However, up here on the formula bar, the formula that I typed in is what shows up. Okay. Because if you noticed, I didn't actually type in 101,000. All right. Okay. Now, once you finish that one, you just go down to cell B13 and do the same thing that you did on cell B8. Sum, and then you highlight cells B11 and B12. You'll end up with a figure of 84,500. Okay. Now, once you get here, all right, what you're going to do, okay, this one involves copying from one cell to another cell. Okay. And, by this point, you'll have this one involves copying and pasting cells from one to another. Now, the way how they show you how to do it on here might be a little tricky, but one easier way to do this, okay, is that you're going to end up with a couple of more columns here, okay? And that you'll notice that column B, it starts off with QTR, which is short for quarterly, all right? And so what you're going to do here, okay, is you're going to put in quarterly, the QTR for here, here, and here. Now you could enter them in manually, or you can do what's called use what's called a fill handle feature. All right, and I'm going to show you how this works. All right. If you have it right here, I'm highlighting cell B4. And you'll notice that the insertion point is right on the cell. But if you bring the insertion point right to the bottom right-hand corner of that cell, all right, you'll see like a box there right on the bottom right-hand corner. If you bring the insertion point right to that where that box is, you'll notice that the insertion point will turn from an arrow into like a plus symbol. What you want to do at that point is you click on it and you drag it across like this. all right, from cells B4 to E4, and then you let go. And what will happen is that that QTR will come up on the next 4 columns, okay, because it just copies and pastes the cell, all right. And it can also work with numbers too, as you'll see. Okay. One thing that they do want you to do here, all right, is before you enter in any more numbers, what they want you to do is they want you to take what's on, cells B4, C4, D4, and E4. They want you to center align it. So what you do is you just go up here, look for that alignment icon, and select center align. There you go. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down here. All right. We're past the halfway point. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste the formulas. All right. Here. Okay. And what we're going to do. Okay. All right. And what we're going to do is that right now I'm right here. The next step is to fill in the range C6 to E7 with projected revenues. All right. And what you're going to do, and unfortunately that doesn't really explain why you're entering it in like this, but it's, but really you're following the directions here. You're going to, right here, you're going to select cell C6 and you're going to enter the formula right here. Equals B6 multiplied by 1.08. All right. And that 1.08 is just like a projected revenue figure that they came up with. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select cell C6 and I'm going to enter in this formula right here. Okay. It's equals B6 multiplied by 1.08. Multiplied by, 1.08. Okay. All right. And I'm going to enter that in right there, like that. All right. And it's going to come up with a figure of 49,680. And you'll see that matches that. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what they want you to do is they want you to apply this formula here. Okay. For cells C7, D6, D7, E6, and E7. All right. And what we're going to do in order to do that, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this cell, okay, and then I'm going to highlight cell C6 to E7 like that. All right. Get rid of that. All right. And then I'm going to, once I do that, I'm going to bring the insertion point here. Or actually, one thing you can do is if you go to the menu bar up here, you select edit and then select copy. Okay. All right. And actually, hold on. I apologize. Get rid of that. I'm going to select, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this formula that I just entered in, cells B6, or cell C6, I'm sorry, and I'm going to copy it, okay? Then I'm going to highlight cells C6 to E7, all right? Then I'm going to, if I go to edit, paste, and you'll notice that what I just did was I copied the formula. All right. I copied what was on cell C6, which was the formula, which is this right here. Okay. And then it got applied to all these cells here. Okay. All right. And that's where I came up with those numbers that are right here. Okay. So now, and that's, and notice that these numbers match as you go down. All right. Now, what we're going to then do is that we're going to complete the total row for the remaining quarters. Okay. Now, to do that, if I click on cell B8 and I bring the insertion point right to the bottom right-hand corner of cell B8, click on it and drag it across, and that totals it up. Okay, and you'll notice that, for cell C8, for instance, all right, that 109,080, that's the sum of cell C6, C7. Okay, matches. Same with the stuff in column D and column E. All right. The next thing that you're going to do, okay, is you're going to do what we just did. When you get down here, what we just did, we're going to do something similar for the expenses. So what you're then going to do is you go down to where it says do this, select cell C11 and enter this formula. Okay. So I go down to cell C11 right here. Okay. Then I'm going to enter in this formula that I highlighted, equals B11 multiplied by 1.02. All right. So I go here, equals B11. Oops. And I multiply it by 1.02, like that. All right. And then I hit enter. All right. Now, I'm going to do the same thing that I did, what I did up here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click that cell B11. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to highlight right here. And then I can go here. You could do edit and paste. Exact same thing. Then I select cell B13. Bring the insertion point to the bottom right-hand corner of that cell. Click and drag it like that. Okay. All right. Now, and as you'll see, as I go down here, everything matches up. Okay. I then do the total, which I just did. Okay. And all right. So now when I get down, we're almost about 3/4 of the way down, a little bit more than 3/4. Okay. You're going to go down to a section where it says select cell B16 and enter in the formula. At this point, we're now going into the income section. All right. So we select cell B16. All right. Which is this one right here. And then we're going to enter in the formula B8 minus B13. And you're going to notice that the reason why we're doing this is that, hold on, I'll just do this here. Cell B8 minus B13. Oops. The reason why we're doing this, okay, as you'll notice, and it even says on the directions, that gross income is equal to total revenue minus total expenses, okay? So when you're generating income, it's taking the revenues and subtracting the expenses from the revenues, and that's how you get income. All right. Then what you're going to do on cell B17 is you're going to enter in this formula here, which is equals B16 multiplied by 0.22. All right. And that represents the tax percentage. All right. You do that. And then the net, okay. Net income is gross income minus the tax. Okay. Once you get out in the working world, when you get a paycheck, you get the pay stub will have $2 figures listed on there. The gross income, which is what you made before taxes get taken out, and then the net income, how much you've made after taxes are taken out. And what's on your paycheck is the net pay, okay, or net income. So what we're going to do on cell B18 is we're going to enter in equals B16 minus B17. All right. And again, when I say B16 minus B17, I'm just listing the cells, okay? In this case, it's really 16,500 minus 3630, all right? And I get that number, okay? So now what I'm going to do, notice how that matches. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with I'm going to bring this here, go to the bottom right-hand corner, click and drag like that. Do the same thing for this row. And I do the same thing for this row. Okay. Now we're almost done. One thing we want to do is that you'll notice on column D and column E, the numbers that are there are not really, they're a little messy. So we're going to clean that up a little bit. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to highlight, from cells D6 to E18. And we're going to go to format, put the number there, to 2 numbers after the decimal. Okay. And so it looks like that. All right. And we'll do the same thing here for these two, just so that cleans it up a little bit. Now we're almost done. There's one more thing we really have to do here. Okay. We're then going to go where it says do this, select cell F4 and enter the text year, and then center the text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to cell F4. I'm going to type in the word year. Okay. Well, we'll center align this. Oops. I'm going to do it like that. Sorry. All right. And then what we're going to do, is we're going to select cell F6 and we're going to enter this formula. All right. Enter it in just like that. Equals SUM. All right. And we're going to do B6 to E6 here. B6. I want to enter a colon and then E6. All right. Or you can just highlight cells, B6 and just drag it to E6. All right. Enter that. Put that number there. We can just drag it down like that. Okay. And, oops. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay. Like this. And then we can just click and drag down there like that. And then last but not least, do the same thing here. SUM. Put that. Just like that. And then use the fill handle like that. And then you can just clean it up, highlighting this, and then go to format, number. So that's 2 numbers after the decimal like that. Okay. All right. And that should be what the final product will look like by the time that you get done with this particular section. Now you can play around with the what if analysis, but I'm not going to, we don't need to really worry about that. Okay. All right. But it actually is a good thing because it goes back to the cell ranges. All right. I probably might even go into that a little bit more in the next video, which will cover linking worksheets. If you have any questions on any of this, please let me know. Thank you very much.